Welcome to SAP and Azure. My name is Ross Loforte. I am an SAP Solution Specialist for Microsoft. And this session is about Innovate by integrating SAP application data on Azure with non-SAP data to unlock the data value and deliver analytics and value to the business. SAP and Microsoft have had a very long relationship, a partnership that has ran for over 25 years, co-developing solutions that best run on Microsoft technologies. This relationship is all the way from the top level of CEO and down to the actual engineers that work together to deliver the best experience for our customers. Microsoft also runs one of the largest SAP environment on Azure, and SAP runs 17 internal business landscapes on Azure. We have embraced partnerships together to help our customers migrate to S4 HANA. We also run and optimize some of the largest VMs to run SAP on Azure. For example, we have Azure VMs that could scale up to 12 terabytes, and we have Azure physical servers for SAP HANA that scale up to 24 terabytes. And we have actually worked together to deliver the best possible solutions that run SAP on Azure. Azure delivers business revenue by empowering employees to do more, by knowing your customers so you could better personalize their experiences, by optimizing the supply chain, creating more efficiency, and to deliver your products to your consumers, and also to reimagine operations by using data and trends to readjust your operations. And let's start with the business integrations. Breaking down business silos is about integrating SAP and non-SAP business applications so they run in more like real time. For example, you have SAP, but you might also have Dynamics 365, or you might have Salesforce, or you might have other applications that you need to integrate to deliver more efficient operations between business to business. Well, Microsoft provides you solutions to create the integration and breaking down those business silos. Also, extending business process to innovate with Azure services is about leveraging the Azure serviceless solutions, leveraging the capability of scaling up, scaling out, high availability, and the Azure services to deliver solutions faster and more efficient to the business. And then employee experiences is about leveraging the employees' business productivity to give them the capability they need to their business better. For example, integrating SAP with Excel so they could do sales forecasting by leveraging the power and capability of Excel. And then optimizing your business processes about creating an intelligent automation in your supply chain, so you can ensure that you purchase the amount of raw material needed to develop the product, and then allow that product to be delivered on time, on budget, to the consumer, so it can be sold. On-demand scale and faster time to market is about the agility and DevOps available to more quickly develop solutions on Azure and integrate them with SAP so that your your customers have access to solutions better, faster, and scalable. And then it's all about sales efficiency. It's about acquiring and retaining customers by improving personalized experiences for the customer. And that all really comes down to data and analytics. It's gaining actionable insights to unlock value of your data so that you could create and integrate and use the data to the advantage of the business to drive business revenue. So SAP integration in Azure, it really starts with the Azure platform. By running SAP on Azure, you gain the capabilities of the Azure platform. For example, things like the highly optimized VMs and physical servers to run SAP, the integration capabilities, the backup services, the telemetry, for example, alerting, monitoring, backups. All those are possible because Azure as a platform provides that as a solution. High availability, disaster recovery, all those are part of the Azure platform solution. In addition to that, Azure provides an enterprise class security solution with Azure Active Directory. Provides you single sign-on between SAP and all the Azure data services, so that the user has a single sign-on experience across all the solutions. And then the Office apps. There's over 1 billion Office users in the world. And many of these Office users are also SAP customers. Imagine that they could use Excel and Word to interact with their SAP data. So they could use the tool that they need to improve their business productivity with the integration provided by the Office 365 platform. In addition to that, Power Apps and Power Automate allows you to create no-code applications that could connect and expose SAP data. And these no-code applications could run into any platform in Windows, iOS, Android, mobile platforms. All possible with the integration capabilities that Microsoft has offered here. And then for business application, Logic Apps provides you with the integration between SAP and other business applications like Dynamics 365 or Salesforce, so many other business applications that our customers have and use, and allows that to do real-time workflow processing between these business applications so that you can run your business in near real time. When an order is taken by SAP, you could actually trigger an action on Salesforce or Dynamics. So all that could be done through Logic Apps, which is part of Azure. And then it really builds around the analytics platform. It's about understanding your customers, understanding their trends, be able to reimagine your operations, to improve your supply chain. And it's about analyzing your data, unlocking the value of your data, with things like Power BI, visualizing your data, to analytics solutions that allows you to do machine learning and look for trends or opportunities based on your data you have captured, and also as well as other data that's available to you to analyze together. So things like Databricks, which is an Apache Spark solution running on Azure, is able to provide you the capability of running machine learning at scale and transformation of data at the petabyte level at scale right within Azure platform. And then to provide personalized experiences to your end users. You may want to use chatbots where users actually interacts in more conversational way. You may want to use cognitive services to be more create a more personalized experience to the users. And then you could even extend it even further by using HoloLens to interact with the SAP data. All that is possible into the Azure platform. Then to combine the SAP and non-SAP data to create a single view of your business, single view of your data, so you can unlock value from your data. We have the Azure Data Factory, which is an ETL-like tool that allows you to connect to over 85 different data sources. It includes SAP data sources, so you could stream data from SAP and non-SAP sources, combine it all together, and create a data warehouse. In addition to that, there's a data catalog which allows you to create searchable metadata solutions so that users could search metadata to identify the data they need to be more productive. In addition to that, there's a lot of partner solutions, and I'm going to highlight some later on these slides about ways you could pull data from SAP in near real time, so that you can report on it in near real time with your reporting tools. And as you build this data warehouse, you combine it all together in a SQL Server database, or a SQL Server data warehouse if you have very large databases. For example, if you have hundreds of terabytes, a SQL Server data warehouse allows you to scale it out to meet the needs and performance of your solutions. And then if you have unstructured data, that could be into a data lake. And in addition to that, we have SQL Server 2019 with an enhanced version of Polybase, which allows you to virtualize SAP and non-SAP data right within SQL Server as a data hub. And HD Insight is a solution that allows you to run open source solution at scale on Azure with HD Insight. In addition, we have Cosmos DB, a highly available, highly scalable solution on Azure. And then for the IoT data, event data, social data, we have a streaming capabilities with Event Hub, which is a queuing solution that allows you to take events and queue them into Event Hub so that they could be analyzed by things like Streaminsights, which is a complex event processor, analyzes the data and takes action on the data. In addition to that, you have IoT Hub, which not only can it receive events like Event Hub at scale, but also registers each device that it's receiving data from, which means is that you're able to analyze the data with Streaminsights, and then able to talk back to the device through IoT Hub, because the IoT Hub has each device register with their location. So which means that you can make updates or take actions to a single device based on information you have captured and analyzed with Streaminsights. And then for situations where you have millions of these devices running in factory floors, it may be challenging to get all these devices networked and connected to Azure. So with IoT Edge, we could take things like machine learning, Azure Functions, Streaminsights, and move them to the device itself. So the device could take actions right there and then, right at the device level, and could actually operate faster and better and more efficient. And that's IoT Edge, running Azure solutions in a container inside the device. And it really starts with Azure as a platform. Azure Management for SAP has building governance with cost management, role-based access solutions. Has monitoring capability with Azure Monitor, with Azure Log Analytics, with Azure Monitoring for SAP. All those capabilities are part of the Azure platform. Also automate infrastructure and SAP HANA solutions with Terraform, with Ansible scripts, with ARM templates. And data protections with Azure Backup for SAP HANA, or partner solutions like Commvault are also available on Azure for SAP solutions. And then we start with the security, with Azure Active Directory providing the single sign-on security for all solutions, SAP on-prem or SAP on Azure, as well as the Azure data sources, Azure solutions. It starts with a single directory where your on-premise Windows Active Directory is synchronized using Azure Active Directory Connect to Azure Active Directory. And in addition to that, then the SAP as well as all the Azure solutions are managed through Azure Active Directory here. So a user could use a single sign-on to Azure Active Directory, and it also includes using, as a second layer of security, Azure multi-factor authentication. And the user could be using a Windows computer, iOS, or Android, and they get the same experience of single sign-on regardless of which device they use. So they could securely connect and single sign-on access all the resources. So Azure Active Directory integrates with SAP HANA by integrating with SAML-based single sign-on, and with it you can control the Azure Active Directory, who has access to the HANA. It also enables users to automatically get signed into SAP HANA with their Azure Active Directory accounts, and in addition, allows you to manage all your accounts and groups from one central location, the Azure portal. And if you want more information on how to do this and how to configure it, I have provided you a link here. And the same thing applies with Azure Active Directory integration with SAP NetWeaver. Integrates SAP BW with Azure Active Directory to provide the single sign-on, managing accounts and groups in more single locations. I enable automatic sign-in with NetWeaver solutions, and controls access through Azure Active Directory to SAP NetWeaver. For additional information and configuration, you can also go here. Now we're transitioning to the Office applications. SAP Fiori is and Microsoft Excel. So a user could actually be working with SAP Fiori, and basically, if a user needs to leverage the capability of Excel, let's say they want to do a sales forecasting with Excel and use the power capability of the spreadsheet, they could connect to SAP using OData and extract the same data that the user is seeing with SAP Fiori into Excel, and use the power of Excel to be more productive and deliver better solutions to the business. So it's about empowering employees to do more. In addition to this, Power Apps with PowerFlow can connect to SAP ECC and SAP S/4HANA. So you could build no-code solutions in hours that run on the web, on iOS, on Android devices, all within the power of the Azure platform with Power Apps and PowerFlow. So it allows makers to build applications with Power Automate over SAP ERP, ECC, or S/4HANA solutions. To build both read-only applications and build read and write applications. Very quickly, to access the data and to be more productive, faster, and also it's about empowering your employees to gain access to the data, unlocking the value of your data. The solution of SAP could be either in the cloud hosted or on-premise. We could get to it through the data gateway. It authenticates using SAP Basic Authentication or Windows kernels. And it supports invoking BAPIs and RFCs. Here's an example of a solution I'm going to show you in a demonstration. Power Apps using PowerFlow to get bank information, get items, get a list of banks, and create a new bank. The flow is connecting to the ECC S4 HANA connector through the data gateway and to SAP, which either could be on-prem or it could be in Azure. So here's our first demo. Is I'm going to demonstrate you the capabilities of connecting Power Apps with Power Automate. Okay, so let's go to Power Automate. Okay, so this is an example of a Power Apps demo connecting to SAP ECC connector, and it's going to fetch some data from from SAP to Power Apps. So here I put in the country code and do a search, and I get a list of all the banks available in my SAP environment. Okay, and here I have all my banks, codes. Okay, this is done directly through the connecting to the SAP using the data gateway. So now again, using the data gateway, I could create a new bank, put a code, put the address, and I could now update SAP with a new bank information right through the data gateway through SAP. And here's a bank information been created. Now, if I do a search, I will be able to retrieve that information right off of SAP. But to see what happened is here's what's behind the scene. There's an SAP Power Apps calling SAP SAP function, and it's getting a response. Okay, and this is all possible by using the capabilities integration between SAP and Microsoft Azure technologies. So let's move on to the next connector. This is a Power BI connector for SAP HANA and BW. Power BI is a suite of business analytics tool that deliver insights through your organizations. So it connects over 100 data sources and provides you a simplified data prep and drives ad hoc analytics. And it's able to build reports and publish them to your organization to be consumed by web or mobile devices. Power Apps has connectors to connect to SAP HANA to read data from HANA. Also has connectors to read data from BW. It's able to either directly query the data source, the SAP data source, which means is as the user is clicking on the report, it executes a query to SAP and retrieves the data. Another option it also could do is it could import the data into the report, which then means is that the data from SAP is imported in the report and it's part of the report. So it could do an import or it could do a direct query. Both are supported. And all the data sources that are supported by Power BI is here. So let's go look a little further here about what the connectors could do. The SAP HANA connector supports HANA informational models. It supports direct SQL support for row and column tables. It has two connector modes, relational or multidimensional. And it supports other native rich SAP HANA concepts like hierarchies, default values, non-additive measures. It supports both importing the data from SAP and supports direct query modes to SAP. It has a support to connect to SAP using the on-premise data gateway. So both importing data or doing direct query to the data. And it has capability for single sign-on using Kerberos or SAML. And it's certified by SAP. Next is the SAP BW connector. It supports SAP BW 7.x. It has ability to connect to both the application server and the message server. It connects to info cubes and query cubes. It's a multi-dimensional connectors and is able to support hierarchies and variables. It also has capability to connect both for importing and direct query modes. It uses the on-premise data gateway to connect to SAP and supports single sign-on using Kerberos constrained delegation. And it's supported by SAP as well, SAP certified. So to do single sign-on support when connecting to SAP from Power BI, you would go to Power BI and click on single sign-on support. You also need to have the data gateway set up with the appropriate SAP driver and either Kerberos or SAML, as described here. And the information is then the user information is passed over to SAP as a single sign-on solution from Power BI. For more information on how to do this, I've provided you some links here. In addition, Power BI supports OData connector, which means that you could have Power BI connecting to the OData data sources of SAP and visualize SAP data using OData. Let's go to a quick demonstration of Power BI with SAP BW inventory sales. Okay, so this is an example of Power BI connecting to an SAP BW inventory sales. It's doing a direct query where the user actually is clicking on a chart here, and Power BI will actually extract the data and pull in their information. It actually submits a query to SAP BW. So as you can see, as I click a slicer, it adjusts my data. Click a different slicer, it does a different query and it readjusts my data. In addition to that, you have capabilities around having maps of your SAP data. Okay, next, SQL Server Analysis Services Tabular model is a service layer which is high performance in-memory column store solution for business analytics. It's designed to be a solution to allow you to scale SAP solutions with hundreds of concurrent users by caching and providing an in-memory column store scalable solution. It provides you enterprise-grade semantic data models, so you can model all your data, and supports XMLA API, which means is all the typical all the typical tools like Power BI, Excel, report services, and other data visualization tools connect to. The announced services version supported by SAP, BW, and SAP HANA are Azure Announced Services and SQL Server Announced Services 2017 or later. So with this layer, you could create highly available solution for very high concurrent reporting solutions. In addition to that, you see that you may want to provide users or or employees with other methods to connect with their SAP data and to provide a more personalized experience. And that's where the SAP innovation with bot framework, with the Azure bot framework, could play a role. Is the bot framework could connect to SAP and other non-SAP solutions like SQL Server, could also integrate with machine learning, could integrate with Azure Cognitive Services to provide the user of the chat bot with a personalized experience like language, speech recognition, vision, knowledge search. And then they could actually provide, the bot could actually be deployed in different type of targets depending on the preference of the user. Could be Teams, could be a Skype, could be email, could be SMS. It could be in a mobile solution or could be on a web solution. So all those are possible, providing the customer or the end user those type of experiences with chatbots. Let me show you an example how we actually use a chatbot to integrate with SAP account management and Salesforce integration. This is a chatbot that does account management. So am I able to ask for it to do to look up for a specific account, and I'm getting Cantoso Retail here. And it says, okay, what do you want to do with this account? Do you want to check details, create opportunity, check the sales performance? So I'm going to check details. And I'm going to look at the invoice. And now the chatbot is going to go out to SAP and get my invoice information. Now I'll go back into it. And I am going to get additional detailed information. Okay, this time I am going to look at account receivable from SAP. So I'm actually interacting again from chatbots to SAP and getting the account receivable information. Now let's go do a little more exploration. I go back to it and look at sales performance. So I'm getting a quick chart of my sales information. And I can see what my sales is, the amounts and the months by month. Right within the chatbot capabilities. Now we can go back and do some more exploration what this chatbots can do. Let's check opportunities. And it's going to go and pull the Salesforce information. Here's the opportunities. Now what I'd like to do is I want to show you that I'm actually able to create an additional a Salesforce opportunity right through the chatbot. Say create opportunity, put in the opportunity name, the amount, then the closing date, and I submit it. And a new opportunity has been created for me in Salesforce. So now if I go back, I could just pull in the details and look at the opportunity that was created. Okay, check opportunities, and I'll see that the new opportunity that was created for me is there now. Contoso Retail 3. So it's all possible using a chatbot, and in this case, my chatbot is integrated within Microsoft Teams. Okay, let's go back to presentation. So now you saw that you saw a chatbot interacting with SAP and interacting with Salesforce right within the same Microsoft Teams framework. So imagine a user, either an employer or a consumer, that is able to log in and look for their account information, their sales information, or the status of their order, or inventory. And imagine if the user speaks a different language, for example, and with a chat box and cognitive services, you could actually have cognitive services detect the language and translate the languages between the two languages, so that the user gets a better experience, is able to interact with the chat box with its own native language. In addition to this, next we're gonna choose and talk about the integration platform as a service components. This is the capability to allow you to do business-to-business application between SAP and over 200 plus different data sources and applications available with Logic Apps. So Logic Apps is an easy-to-use workflow management solution that is able to integrate with things like Office 365, Dynamics, Salesforce, and many other applications to create very complex workflow management. And it's all built around an easy-to-use designer where you drag and drop the components and just put them all together. To get a list of what all the connectors it's built in, you go to this link here, okay. And if you want to try Logic Apps yourself, here's a link for that too. With Logic Apps, you could build solutions that could interact with SAP and non-SAP environments. So you could have business-to-business applications and breaking down those business silos. For example, in this case, I would say I could get order data from SAP, could contact FedEx for shipping, I could generate an invoice, and then could confirm the order and ship it. All within that simple-to-use workflow. So Azure Logic Apps with SAP Connector could send data to SAP through BAPI or IDOC, and also could receive data using BAPI and IDOC. With it, you could build solutions that are on-premise, on Azure, and in the cloud. All built inside and orchestrated and managed by Azure Logic Apps. Also, it supports the SAP application server and the SAP message server. If you want to get more information about how to use them, I provided you a few links here. Now let's show you a demonstration how Logic Apps could be used in a solution with an Azure IoT Central. So in this case, what I have is an MX chip, which is which it's about a less than $50 chip that has a lot of different sensors, and I'm going to use this to integrate it with SAP. So here's what the MX chip looks like. IoT Central is a repository or a centralized solution to manage IoT devices. So my chip is connected to the IoT Central solution on Azure, along with our other devices. Then what I'm able to do is I could actually have IoT Central analyze the values of the sensors coming from the device and take actions and execute a logic app to go out to and connect to SAP S/4HANA, look up the device name, customer information, and other SAP information, and then email that information using Office 365. I'll build in through IoT Central to Logic Apps integration into SAP. And then all this could be reported using Power BI. So let's see how this demonstration would look like in a demo. So here I'm going to do is an IoT Central with Logic App connectivity to S/4HANA. Okay, so what this is Fabricam is a company that builds generators and sells them in a subscription model, which means is they manage the generators for the customer. In this case, you have generators all over the country that they manage right through IoT Central. So those devices from the generator are received inside IoT Central, and IoT Central creates a single view of all the devices to be managed. Messaging, and you have Power BI connectors, Power BI reports you could pull out, humidity, temperature, movements, all this information. So what I'm going to do here is I have my MX chip also connected to IoT Central to be used to analyze the movements and the sensors on the MX chip. So here's the different devices that it's connected to. Also, we could do analytics against that data. So, for example, the data is coming from the generator. I could look at it over time and see what it looks like. In this case, I am actually this information is the data coming from my MX chip. Accelerometer X, Y, Z, gyroscope X, Y, Z, humidity. This is coming from my MX chip. So basically what I'm doing here is showing you the analytics that's being generated from the device. Then I go on to my own MX chip, MX chip, and I show you that here's how it looks. The MX chip, it's got the different device information, sensor information we're reporting on inside IoT Central. I could also change the settings of it right from IoT Central. Okay, could look at properties of the chip. Commands I could execute. And what's important I want to show you here mostly is that there's a sensor here called too much movement, and it's a rule. Okay, this rule says whenever the accelerometer X is greater than 75, execute, take it to SAP. So which means is if I'm moving the MX chip where it creates enough motion to be greater than 75, which is this, it's going to execute that rule. Okay, the accelerometer X greater than 75. Then we check the rule. And the rule is a logic app action. Okay, the logic app action is now gets the information from the device and connects to S4 HANA and collects additional information from SAP. So here's what the logic app is doing. It's going to and say, well, a rule has been fired. Extracts the ID, updates SAP, gets asset information, selects the data, creates an HTML table, and sends an email. So here, if identify there's a rule, it captured extracted the device ID, okay, updated SAP, get the SAP asset information, and then it extracted some data from that and created a table, and then emails that to the user. Okay, so what we saw here is IoT Central with an MX chip and Logic Apps in action, connecting and integrating SAP and non-SAP solutions like email. So imagine a solution where in a plant floor a device is vibrating very heavily, which causes a rule to fire because the device needs service. IoT Central goes out, executes a Logic App, which connects to S4 HANA, gathers the information of the device, and emails it to the technician, so the technician could actually go to the device and service it. And it's always simply possible using these technologies and the integration that it provides you. Next is we're going to talk about the Azure Data Factory. Azure Data Factory is a fully managed data integration service for cloud analytics on Azure. It has a rich connectivity with over 85 connectors. Orchestration capabilities, monitoring is serviceless, which means it scales as needed, and you pay for use. And it has a drag and drop UI, single pane of glass for monitoring, all easy to use. Drag and drop. You build your data flows. And the this single tool is enabled to ingest data from SAP as well as over 85 different data sources, and it is able to transform the data using the capabilities of data flow, which integrates with Databricks and the Streaminsights. Transform the data at scale. And you can see here there's a lot of different data sources to connect to. But what I want to highlight is that it connects to SAP data sources. As well as Concur is here, Dynamics is here as well. So a lot of different data sources you could merge data together to create a data warehouse with a single version of the truth to do analytics and to unlock value of your data. So we have connectors for SAP BW with OpenHub, with SAP BW with MDX, SAP Cloud for Customer, SAP CC, SAP HANA, and SAP Table connectors. So here's a quick chart. Depending on where your data is, if I have data in HANA, or I have data in BW, or I have data in ACC, it determines which of these you will use. Okay. Um, this gives you more information around the different connectors. So SAP HANA connectors, an ODBC connector, it could read data from SAP. You could also write data to SAP. You also have the BW connector here over MDX, OData connector from ECC, the C4C overall data, OpenHub, and the table connector. So for more information on how to use these, you click on the links here. So really what we saw here is the capability of being able to take SAP data, on-premise or other cloud data, data from other cloud solutions, and data from SaaS data sources. And with Azure Data Factory is able to pull them all together, ingest them, use data preparation with Data Factory and Data Flow and Databricks to process to transform data at scale, and then deliver that to Azure Data Warehouse or Azure SQLDB, or to be consumed by Power BI or other visualization tools. In addition to that, Azure Data Factory leverages Azure Data Lake's Storage Gen 2 and has a data pipeline for orchestrating and monitoring. And that's part of the modern data warehouse. Now what I'm going to show you here is an example of using SAP Inventory Demand Forecasting architecture on Azure. So it's an example of how we pull data from SAP to do analytics and help a company better forecast demand of their product. So before I show you the demo, we're pulling data from SAP, which is about 3 years worth of data, sales and inventory data. We use Azure Data Factory to ingest the data, and then we land the data into a data lake, where then Databricks transforms the data and runs machine learning against the data. Saves the machine learning service, the model, and then the results are saved into an Azure SQL database, where then Power BI could actually look at the forecasting information. Databricks could use its own data analytics against that, or Azure Chatbot could be used within Teams to interact with that data as well. So now imagine that I'm pulling data from that single source. But what about if I also want to use IoT data? Or I want to pull in weather data because I want to make sure when I ship the product to the retail store that I allow for weather patterns or weather forecasts. Or I also want to make sure I understand the traffic patterns. Want to make sure I know what the traffic pattern for different stores are, so that I could accommodate and make sure that the truck leaves and ships a product within the time frame to make it to the store on time to be sold. So do I know what the weather is? Do I know what the logistics is? Road conditions, traffic conditions, possibly different days of the week. You may have different traffic patterns that you need to accommodate. All that is possible. And in addition to that, then you can also put in, for example, you may have Salesforce data or Dynamics data that you also pull in together. So that you could kind of helps you paint the picture of analyzing that data and delivering value to the business, so they could actually purchase the right amount of raw material, build the products on time, and deliver to the store right on time to be sold. It's all very easily possible by leveraging all these capabilities available in Azure. So let's see a demonstration of this. Okay, so this is a demand forecasting dashboard. Power BI, connecting to the SQL database. And I have 3 years worth of data here and my actual forecasts for all my stores, all my channels, okay, and department, discount, retail, superstores. And then I also want to forecast what I need to ship to those locations for the next 7 months. So therefore, I could make sure I have enough raw material, and I'm able to have the manufacturing facility build exact amount of units so that I could ship it. And I could look actually based also on the different channels. Well, if I'm on the retail channel, how many do I need to send to that solution? Or what about my discount channel? Or so all this, so I could actually now show you that I have able to do the forecasting of each one of my channels and identify where to send the truck with those units and when they do need to arrive so that I could have those units sold. So that's an example of using machine learning to forecast based on 3 years of SAP data, using Power BI as the visualization tool. Another example is let's use an Azure chatbot within Microsoft Teams. So I'm going to call my demand forecasting smart assistant, and it's going to ask me what do I want to do, and here we're just going to do some exploration. First of all, let's look what the performance of the store is. Which store do we want to look at performance? Okay, date, and I could look at performance and see what how the store is doing over that period. And I could see the units for that period. Now let's view the forecasting. So I'm using the chat box again, going to SQLDB, selecting a store, and doing a submit. And it's going to bring me back my forecast. Here's my actual, and that's my forecast time for that. Okay, let's do some more exploration. Let's see what else we could do here right within the capability of this chat box. Let's do a new forecast. Okay, so I'm going to say what store I want to forecast, which day of the week, distance to other competitors that store is located, and what type of store it is, and the date I want to forecast on. And then I want to also maybe put in some information about shipping cost, variable shipping cost, depending on the location the store is to the manufacturing plant, or promotions available in the area. And this forecasting based on that, they need 814 units to be sent to that store. Okay, let's do more exploration. Let's look at the capabilities that makes all this possible. So the first thing I'm going to show you here is the Azure Data Factory, pulling the data from SAP. And so let's go into my Azure Data Factory, and you can see there's a copy command. Click on that, You could look at the source, and the source is the SAP table. And I could do a preview of the data so you can see what the data I'm pulling. And this is the data that's coming from S4 HANA. And then I am going to pull the data into a file, and the data lands into an Azure Data Lake. So at that point, Azure Databricks picks up that data file and does its transformation and creates a model. And this is what I'm going to show you here is the steps that Databricks goes through by ingesting the data, copying the data to blob, reading the shipment data from blob, okay, and you can see every step of the way. You'll see the results here, so you can see what's the output is. Reading the store, the stored data from Azure SQLDB, inputting data, joining the shipping and the store data, and this is all done by Azure Databricks. And then it's going to do some calculating the amounts and categorizing the data to do machine learning against it, converting categorized data from string to integer, splitting that data into train and test, and then it is running the machine learning algorithm here. Model to regressor. Okay. And then I'm going to, the end result is once I run the model and train the model, load the data, get the predictions, and it saves them into a SQL database and deploys the model in Azure Machine Learning Services. So here's some forecasting the next 7 months and writing that information to SQLDB. So there where the chatbot and Power BI is consuming it from. So then it gets deployed. So I could reuse it to do additional forecasting. So all that is really a part of the solution of doing Azure demand forecasting from using SAP data. Now imagine if I could take other data sources and other information and combine it all together to deliver a better solution to the business. So let's go back and go back to the slides again. So what you saw here was an SAP inventory demand forecasting on Azure. It's taking SAP data and using Data Factory, Databricks, SQLDB to deliver predictions to Power BI and the chatbots, or even other BI tools will also be used. In addition to Azure Data Factory, there's other partner solutions that do integration and with SAP to be able to provide additional value to replicate data from SAP. Some are able to do near real-time replication from SAP, but they all have different additional feature functionality. Don't have the time to go through all of them, but what I want to say here is that I'm providing you links here that you could explore on your own to find more information about how these could be used to integrate your SAP data into Azure Data Services. Additionally to this is SQL Server 2019 with Polybase, which is an enhanced version of Polybase, in SQL 2019, it's able to act as a data hub by integrating with other data sources. For example, SQL Server 2019, using Polybase external table, is able to link to SAP HANA and other data sources. Okay, ODBC data sources, NoSQL data source, relational data source, big data sources, and can make it all appear to Power BI or other apps that it's all coming from SQL Server 2019. So therefore, as a Power BI report, we just connect to SQL Server 2019 and queries the external table as if it was a SQL Server table. And SQL Server does all the virtualization under the cover. That's another capability that's part of SQL Server 2019. Okay, and then here's the Azure Data Catalog integration with SAP. The Azure Data Catalog is a component of Azure that allows you to do metadata search of all your structured data. For example, it allows a user with appropriate Azure Active Directory permission to be able to query, let's say, for sales data for fiscal year 2019, and you'll get links where all that data exists, so that the user is more efficiently able to identify the data that he or she needs to create reports or to build solutions or unlock value of the data. And Azure Data Catalog supports SAP HANA and SAP BW as data sources. And it also supports on-premise as well as cloud data sources, and it supports structured and unstructured data. For more information on what data sources are supported, you could go to the site here. Also, another technology that has integration with SAP is Azure Synapse Analytics. It's an integrated data platform of BI, AI, and continuous intelligence. So Synapse as a platform that combines SQL Data Warehouse, Azure Data Factory, and HDInsight and Spark into a complete solution here. And it supports all the SQL, Python, .NET, Java, Scala, R solutions. As you can see here, it's got a SQL runtime engine and a Spark runtime engine as an integration. And what we are going to talk more about is how does Synapse integrate with data integration. And Synapse, because it's part of, it includes Azure Data Factory as part of a solution, is able to leverage the capability of Azure Data Factory and integrate with SAP data sources. So Synapse, through its Azure Data Factory component, is able to link different data sources together and include them into structured and unstructured data within its environment. So it offers over 85 plus connectors, and that's easy cross-platform data integration. Okay, here's an example of a company, Daimler, that leverages these integration capabilities to improve their manufacturing processes. They run mission critical, which is run SAP on Azure, so it delivers solutions faster. Instead of taking months, which was on-premise, they could actually deliver it much faster on Azure. Then it unlocks the value of the data by using big data to analyze the data, unlocking value. Then what they're doing is they're taking the value of that data and identifying flaws in designs and improving their quality of their products, so that the end users, their customers, get better quality products from them by leveraging the capabilities available within Azure with their data at a reduced cost and providing better customer retention and experiences. And it's all really done by running mission critical, which gives you a high availability, performance, security, compliances on Azure. Then unlocking the value of data with all the Azure data sources, solutions, Power BI, Data Lake, Cognitive Services, Data Factory, Logic Apps. And then it's about extending the reach of that by leveraging all the other capabilities of Azure to improve their business processes and create better quality products for their consumers. In addition to that, a few other things I want to mention that we have integration with is SAP Web Services platform for Azure provides you a web services capability to integrate with SAP, so you could create custom applications that connect to SAP. Okay, and this solution utilizes the Azure Active Directory, Kerberos, so you can have single sign-on with SAP. And if you want to know more about it, you can actually click on this link here, and it provides you a link to more information. But it's about being able to create custom applications that interact with SAP. And then there's the reverse, SAP ABAP SDK for Azure, which allows the SAP ABAP programmer to integrate with Azure services from within SAP. With that, I'd like to also leave with a couple of things. One is if you want to learn more how customers are realizing 102% of ROI by migrating SAP landscapes to Azure, you could go to this link here, and there's a full report that talks about the total economic impact of Microsoft Azure for SAP by Foster. Additionally to this, there's the learn more by visiting some resources here. By visiting azure.com/SAP, that's where we maintain this video and many other information about Azure running SAP. You can find more about partners, SAP partners, by visiting our partner site. You can access to white papers and resources by going to the azure-microsoft.com solutions SAP resources. And if you want to learn more about Power BI, there's a Power BI link there which has all the information about Power BI, connectivity of Power BI, and how Power BI is used, and additional case studies about SAP on Azure. You could go to the case studies solutions SAP. And then also I maintain a blog, SAP and Azure blog at aka.ms/SAP for Azure. With that, I'd like to thank you for joining me today through the journey how SAP and Azure integrate better together, and how you could unlock the value of your SAP and non-SAP data by using Azure Data Services.